Welcome to the Overstock Academy weekly podcast, where we talk about finding name brand store overstock products and reselling them online on places such as eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and even your own website. Today's episode was inspired by a conversation I had with my friend over lunch. We were discussing her budding eBay business. I just had to share our conversation because this is something that I see others encounter when trying to sell products online. She knew that I had recently sold my successful online business for a high six-figure amount, and that I sold products on several online marketplaces as well as my own websites. She knew that, like most people, I had started out on eBay and then expanded to other channels later on. On the other hand, she was only a few months into her eBay venture and she was seriously struggling. In fact, she was on the verge of quitting. Maybe you can relate? In today's world, it's become fashionable to avoid asking for help. I have no idea why, especially when it comes to creating your own business. So you throw everything at a wall, hoping something sticks, riding the roller coaster of trial and error, or even worse, you look to every self-proclaimed guru who can talk a good talk, but have they walked the walk? In my experience, that was rarely the case. It's like we've been taught that you have to do everything the hard way, by yourself, or you aren't a real entrepreneur. Well, that's just hogwash. It's much better to seek people out who have gone ahead of you and proven their answers with hard-won results. Yet here was dear Jackie, telling me about her many months into the process mistakes she could have avoided if she had just come to me earlier. And boy, did these mistakes suck. They had cost her several thousands of dollars in bad product, lost sales, and much more. I was just grateful that she had come to me now and seemed really excited about the insight I was sharing. After I answered all her questions, Jackie started convincing me to share my business experiences with other people. And the truth is, I was hesitant. Like most of us, I didn't want to put myself out there. I mean, it's hard and it's scary. I was always uncomfortable with self-promotion. I was afraid of other people's judgment and resistance and criticism. Even more so, I really resent the gurus you see online because in my experience, they never helped anyone. They just took people's money and gave some vague, valueless answers. What if people started seeing me like a guru? How could I avoid that? Some of the strategies I used to explode my business seemed so stupid simple that I felt people would doubt them. Other tactics had already been tried by online sellers with little to no success because their execution was mediocre at best. And we all know those dudes are usually the loudest naysayers. Now, Jackie was telling me how there are a ton of articles, tutorials, courses, and gurus out there that give tips, tactics, and strategies on how to sell more on eBay or online for that matter. While a few of them are great, most of them come from people who have never sold online. And if they had, they were not very good at it. They basically read articles online and steal other people's ideas. They have no first-hand knowledge whether these tactics they sell you work or not. That is why when you look in the comment sections of their posts, the authors never respond and are nowhere to be seen, because they really have no first-hand experience. Now, another problem Jackie saw was that some people specialize in a specific niche, so the advice out there doesn't really apply to everyone. Finding the information she could apply to her business was very time-consuming and frustrating. Then Jackie asked me the million-dollar question. What is the number one thing that was key to your success selling on eBay? What was your secret sauce? Now, I had thought about this very thing several times. Here's the thing, Overstock Nation. The system I developed for my online Overstock business allowed me to sell fast and hit monthly 5 figures consistently. There were multiple components to this system, and almost all of them could be tweaked, replaced, or even eliminated. All except one, and this is how I explained it to her. Think about how you shop. Now, it's a known fact that when shopping for any product or service, once we decide on the product we want, with all else being equal, we always go for the lowest priced item. For example, here's what most people do. If I was looking to buy a Bluetooth speaker to take with me to the beach, I would first look at a few brands. Then I would select a specific brand. Let's say I settled for a JBL. I would then choose one of the JBL models based on my needs and customer reviews, right? Now I may settle on the JBL Extreme Portable Bluetooth speaker, but then they come in black, red, or blue. I decide I want the red one. Now finally, I search for the best deal I can find on a JBL Extreme Portable Bluetooth speaker that's red. Now that's how most people shop online. Ultimately, it comes down to price. I do it, you do it, we all do it. So if I had to point to just one thing that was responsible for my consistent 5-figure monthly sales, I would say it comes down to a kick-ass pricing strategy. Price your item to be the lowest and keep it the lowest until it sells. Now the simple fact is this: when the value is equal, price is everything. Now I know, this is a controversial topic for most people. So hang on, before you jump down my throat with criticism, allow me to explain a bit. There are a ton of people who argue against this, okay? They claim that you should let your customer service, your superior products, and/or your superior purchase experience stand out. They throw out the cliche, lowering your price is a race to the bottom. They bolster their argument by throwing in stuff like offer superior customer service or provide better quality, get your customers to leave you positive feedback, and things like that. The thing is, they are completely missing the point. Well, 4 of them, in fact. Number 1, everyone is on the superior customer experience boat. I guarantee you that no one sets up their business to provide crappy service. The second thing is everyone is looking for and offering superior products. If you are selling a red JBL Extreme Portable Bluetooth speaker, for example, you are competing against another seller with the exact same item. Number 3, on a marketplace like eBay or Amazon, save for very slight differences, the customer experience is almost identical, and those marketplaces ensure that. The fourth thing is for a prospective buyer to convert into a customer, they have to buy first, right? It is only after they buy that the customer gets to experience your awesomeness and hence leaves you feedback. So now you're back to the original problem. How the heck do I sell my products? Now the truth is, your pricing is the true starting point, and if it's not, it should be. Your goal should be to find products that have a large enough profit margin to allow you to compete with the big boys and still make a handsome profit. Now, after months and months of trying everything from drop shipping, importing from China, private label products, and all the rest, I finally identified the one product source that checked all the boxes and accomplished my goal: the Overstock industry. This is where you buy Overstock unsold name brand merchandise from national retailers at amazing prices, and then resell it online on places such as eBay, Amazon, Shopify, or even your own website. Now, like I admitted in a previous episode, I literally stumbled into this industry. In doing so, I quickly realized I finally found the highly profitable product source I had been looking for. When I saw the possible profit margins, I went all in. In brief, here's how I did it. Through my research, I discovered that almost all national big box retailers have excess Overstock inventory. These are major national retailers such as Target, Walmart, Amazon, Macy's, Dillard's, Best Buy, GameStop, Home Depot, Shopko, Sears, Bloomingdale, Harbor Freight, Nordstrom, Kmart, Costco, Sam's, Kohl's, and there's a ton more. Now this is because they will always order more inventory than they can actually sell. They also all have a money-back policy in place for the consumer. Goods lose value the longer they are stored, and storing and warehousing these products costs them money. There's also a risk in holding the products, such as theft and damage from being moved around. These stores will always dispose these products in wholesale lots at deep discounts. Now, most times, these stores dispose of these products in bulk at prices, believe it or not, even lower than what they originally paid. So this is how Like I explained in a previous episode, I was able to buy those 32-inch LED TVs at $50 and resell them at $280. And high-end bedding sets I purchased for $18 and I was able to resell them for between $89 to $150. Now, buying at those prices allowed me to compete with the very stores I was buying from. And the amazing part was that these profit margins are quite normal in the Overstock industry. Now, next I'm going to give you an overview of my pricing strategy. If you'd like a step-by-step detailed description, together with a case study and images, head over to the episode notes at overstockacademypodcast.com/106. Okay, here we go. So as a rule, I always price my items between 1 and 5 cents lower than the competition. Now, as strange as that sounds, it actually works with amazing efficiency. Now, with all things being equal, buyers will choose to save between 1 to 5 cents over the competition. That part was simple enough. However, after a while, a pattern emerged. I later discovered that after using this strategy to price and list my products, I would immediately get a ton of sales. But after a few days, I'd get nothing. So there was still something missing. That's when I realized that I was only the lowest price for several days, maybe several hours, until someone else listed a new product or adjusted their existing price to something that was just below my price. So this is how I solved that problem. I schedule time once a week to go through my listings and adjust the pricing to be the lowest by a few cents. And like magic, once again, my listings were selling. However, there came a time when I had hundreds of products and I could not research and adjust prices as often as necessary to stay competitive. At other times, I found that if my closest competitor's product had already sold, a huge gap in price would appear between myself and the next competitor. So it was time for another tweak. Now at Overstock Academy, I show you how I eventually was able to automate this process so I no longer did it manually. This is how elite eBay and Amazon sellers do it, and that is what I'm going to teach you. Now remember, if you go to overstockacademypodcast.com/106, you can provide your email address and I'll send you the free PDF guide that explains all of this in detail. For now, follow along as I illustrate this. If I was listing an Xbox One Elite console that cost me $80, I would research the lowest priced one in the same condition as mine. For example, it could be new, maybe new other, used, or refurbished. And I would find that seller A was selling it for $299.95, and seller B was selling for $305.99. So I would then list mine at $298.99, right under seller A's price, just by a few cents. A week later, if it hasn't sold, I may review and find that number one, either seller A has dropped their price to $289.99, which means in return, I would then drop mine again to $288.99, again, just right below theirs. Or number two, seller A's listing is no longer available, and my listing is still the lowest, and I now have room to raise my price to get closer to seller B, but I can still remain the lowest. The whole goal of this exercise is to sell fast. Now remember, I have a huge profit margin here. Sitting on an item just to make an extra few dollars is a sure way to go out of business, and trust me, I learned that the hard way. As I explain at Overstock Academy, products don't pay the bills, cash does. So the next time you hear that race to the bottom BS, just remember, the online product resale game is all about inventory turnover. Buy right, sell fast, repeat. Billion-dollar retailers like Walmart figured this out decades ago. We can complain about the rules, or we can figure out a way to win. I did, and so can you. You make money when you buy. Get your pricing right, then work back from there, because pricing affects your buying philosophy as well as your ability to compete. My philosophy is never to buy a wholesale lot that I can't at least triple my money on. And that is what I teach at Overstock Academy. When you buy like that, you can compete with anyone, even the large retailers like Target, Best Buy, Toys R Us, and Wayfair. And by the way, all of those companies are now selling on eBay. This is the precise advice I gave my friend Jackie that day. Now I'm happy to report that Jackie just recently had her first 5-figure sales month, and now we meet more frequently for lunch or coffee, and she's no longer afraid to ask questions. Now you may be wondering why Jackie asked me to share this advice when it may mean more competition for her. You see, when Jackie started buying and reselling Overstock products, she discovered a couple of things. Number one, the product selection is so vast that you can easily choose to specialize, which means competition isn't concentrated in one big lump. There's room for all of us. Then number two, because of the amazing profit margins, if you did do it right, competition wouldn't even matter. Remember, everyone is going to eventually sell what they have if they do it right. Now, you aren't always going to have everything in stock, and neither is your top competitor. If you think this information could help someone else, let me ask that you share this guide. There are others struggling with this same problem right now. People who desperately want to escape the 9-to-5 paycheck-to-paycheck hell they've lived in for so long. I was once there, and so was Jackie. You might be there too. We can all find freedom if we just help each other out with the right information. You and I have an opportunity to help. There's definitely plenty to go around. This week, I have some questions that were sent in by some of you. Again, you can send questions to amy@overstockacademy.com. One question comes in from Amanda. She is asking, how much would you need to start this business? Well, Amanda, the sources I will provide don't have a minimum order quantity requirement. In fact, most vendors in the industry don't have minimum purchase requirements. I've had students start out with as little as between $100 and $200 to test out a vendor, and then they quickly scaled up from there. As always, though, remember our rule, Overstock Nation, always start small. Another question comes in from Joe S. He's asking, I already have an eBay account where I sell on and off. I really like this method of sourcing, and I think it will work for my eBay business. Do you have any ideas for how to get financing to get more inventory? That's a fantastic question, and actually I do. In future episodes, we are going to be going over getting finances. And like I told you in an earlier episode, I started this business with very little money. To grow, I needed help, but my bank, like most banks, was still in the dark ages, and they don't get online businesses. Now at Overstock Academy, I share with you my actual funding sources, and they cater to your business at every level, from starting out. Now at Overstock Academy, I share with you my actual funding sources. They cater to your business at every level, from starting out to expansion, and plus they are friendly to this industry. And don't worry, your credit score is at the bottom of their criteria. Most times it doesn't even factor into their approval decisions. Another question from Zach C. He's asking, can you sell these products on Amazon FBA? Absolutely, you can, Zach. Overstock products range from brand new to store returns. However, if you are getting started, I always suggest starting with eBay because eBay is more lenient than Amazon is. I sold on both marketplaces, and plus I had 2 websites. In a future episode, I'll go over exactly how I did this and how I set up the whole business on autopilot. Grace has a question. She's asking, my husband and I have no business experience at all. Do we need to register or set anything up for tax purposes? You don't have to right at this time. However, at Overstock Academy, I show you how to quickly and easily set up, incorporate, and register your business. I found it pretty easy to do, and I didn't even need an attorney myself. All right, so I truly hope this week's show was beneficial to you. If it was, feel free to share it. There's definitely plenty of profits to go around. Also, please don't forget to rate and review us. It's the only way we can get better. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them in and we'll get them answered for you right away. My email address is amy@overstockacademy.com. Also note that for the benefit of other listeners, your question may be read out loud and answered in an upcoming show. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Those question and answer sessions are pure gold. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again in the next episode.